Hello everyone, welcome to the Travel Hub channel. Today I want to show you the best 9 places in Athens. It's a city full of wonders and is a perfect holiday destination for everyone. It has museums, monuments, temples, cultural squares, markets and beaches. So, if you have been planning a vacation, then you must consider Athens as your next destination. The cobbled streets, good food and strong coffee would lure any traveler's way. But before you start planning, here is an overview video of the best 9 places to visit in Athens. This list is to help you figure out what to see in Athens while you are on the tour. First, of course, it's Acropolis. This is the most important ancient site in the Western world. Crowned by the Parthenon, it stands central over Athens, visible from almost everywhere within the city. Its monuments and centuries of white Panathenaic marble gleam in the midday sun and gradually take on a honey hue as the sun sinks, while at night they stand brilliantly illuminated above the city. A glimpse of this magnificent sight cannot fail to exalt your spirit. Inspiring as these monuments are, they are but faded remnants of the city of Piraeus, who spared no expense. Only the best materials, architects, sculptors and artists were good enough for a city dedicated to the cult of Athena. It was a showcase of lavishly colored buildings and gargantuan statues, some of bronze, others of marble plated with gold and encrusted with precious stones. Piraeus transformed the Acropolis into a city of temples which has come to be regarded as the zenith of classical Greece. Ravages inflicted during the years of foreign occupation, pilfering by foreign archaeologists, inept renovations following independence, the footsteps of millions of visitors, earthquakes and, more recently, acid rain and pollution have all taken their toll on the surviving monuments. The worst blow was in 687, when the Venetians attacked the Turks, opening fire on the Acropolis and causing an explosion in the Parthenon, where the Turks had been storing gunpowder and damaging all the buildings. The Acropolis became a World Heritage listed site in 1987. Major restoration programs are ongoing and most of the original sculptures and friezes have been moved to the Acropolis Museum and replaced with casts. Restoration at the site is ongoing and there are almost always hordes of tourists here. Visit very early in the morning or last thing at night to avoid the worst of the crowds. The one modern detail on the hill, aside from the ever-present scaffolding and cranes, is the large Greek flag at the far eastern end. From there you can look down into the temple of Olympian Zeus. From November to March admission is free on the first Sunday of the month. A combo ticket costs €30 permits entry to the Acropolis and 6 other sites within 5 days. The second place is Plaka and Anafiotika. Plaka is one of the most, if not the most beautiful neighborhoods in Athens. It lies off Acropolis hill and field, with 19th and 20th century mansions, many of which are listed for historical preservation. The cobblestone alleys are lined with houses that are decorated with fuchsia bougainvilleas and other sorts of plants and flowers. Plaka really looks like a village in the middle of Athens. In Plaka you will find plenty of restaurants, cafes and, of course, plenty of people. It's a popular destination for both tourists and locals, who visited both during the day and night. There is also a small neighborhood in Plaka village that looks similar to Santorini. The houses are cubic in shape and are whitewashed. The shutters and doors are blue-green, calling to mind the sea. This small neighborhood called Anafiotika was built at the end of the 19th century to resemble the homes of Anaphian island in the Cyclades, which is also where the neighborhood's name originates. Third, the best places in Athens is Syntagma Square, a major point of commercial, political and social life. Syntagma Square is the most important square of the city and even the country. Its central fountain and status with the Parliament building in the background make it an easily recognized sight, topped only of course by the Acropolis. Bordered by 5-star hotels and shops and the Parliament House, Syntagma Square has a long history. In 1843, due to a popular and military uprising, King Otto was forced to grant a constitution to the people, and so square was renamed Syntagma Square, meaning Constitution Square. Today, Syntagma Square continues to be the stage for demonstration and political rallies and serves not only as a destination for travelers and tourists, but also a meeting point for locals. Syntagma houses the Parliament building, which was built around 1842 as a residence for King Otto and Queen Amalia, and which has been the Parliament quarter since 1934. At the bottom of the Parliament stands the monument of the unknown soldier, guarded by the F-zones, members of the Presidential Guard. Every 15 minutes the two F-zones stand in guard by way of an intriguing choreography. The changing of the guard done every hour is a slow yet fascinating procession that usually attracts many tourists. Syntagma is also a hub for transportation and is a major junction point for metro lines 2 and 3, with the station located underneath the square. It also features an on-site archaeological display, the tram connecting the center to the southern suburbs, and the seaside also makes a stop here. Next places is the Temple of Olympian Zeus. The building of the Temple of Olympian Zeus actually began in the 6th century, but work was stopped. The temple was not finished until the Emperor Hadrian completed in 700 years later. Originally there were 104 Corinthian columns, of which only 15 remains standing. One of the columns actually blew down in a storm in 1852. Hadrian has erected a giant gold and ivory statue of Zeus inside the temple, with an equally large one of himself next to it. Nothing remains of this status. It's not known when the temple of Zeus was destroyed, but it probably came down in an square during the medieval period. Like other ancient buildings, much of it was taken away for building materials. In the early 19th century, a Stylite built his dwelling on top of one of the columns of the temple, and it can be seen in early paintings and drawings. The fifth, the best place in Athens, is Panathenaic Stadium. Situated behind the National Gardens is Panathenaic Stadium, the white marble arena that was used for the first modern Olympic Games in the world in Athens in 1896. Though the stadium is relatively new in terms of other sites and monuments to be found in Athens, it has a long and historic background and is definitely an attraction that all visitors to Athens should try and visit. The original wooden stadium that was built on this site was constructed in 330 BC and was intended for use for the Panathenaic Games. In 140 AD the stadium was rebuilt, with the original wooden design being abandoned. Marble from Mount Penteli was used, and the 60,000 capacity stadium was completed for the Panathenaic Games in the same year. It wasn't until the 19th century that reconstruction of the stadium began. Though the first modern Olympic Games took place in 1896, the stadium itself was not actually fully completed until 1906. The 1896 Olympics took place in a particularly completed stadium, though this did nothing to cause any problem to the games themselves. Next place in my list is Areopagus Hill, also known as Mars Hill. It's a spot to get one of the most iconic views of the Acropolis. This rocky outcropping offers not only a stunning view of the Acropolis, but also across the ancient agora and the temple of Hephaestus. But this is more than a nice spot to snap a photo. There is a lot of history and legend here. According to Greek mythology, this hill got its name from Ares, the god of war, who was tried here by the gods for the murder of Poseidon's son Areopagus. In ancient times, this was a meeting place where philosophy and law were discussed. It's also the location where the Apostle Paul gave one of the most important speeches. Areopagus hill is located very close to the main entrance into the Acropolis, so go here before or after Acropolis tour. Next to Areopagus hill you have to visit the Philopappou hill. It's my 7th place. Also known as the Hill of the Muses, the site is one of the best viewpoints to see Athens and the Acropolis. You can walk to the top of this 147 meters high hill using one of the many pedestrian trails in around 10 minutes. At the summit you will have a panoramic view of the entire city, the port of Piraeus and the Attic Peninsula. If you are lucky enough to have a very clear weather, you will even see some of the closest islands. There you can also admire Philopappou's monuments, a mausoleum dedicated to the Roman senator Philopappou, considered as one of the Athens benefactors. On the side, don't forget to see the church of Agios Dimitrios Lombardias, the prison of Socrates and the remains of the Shrine of the Muses. One of the best places in Athens which I like it is the National Garden of Athens. Right in the heart of the capital stands the famous National Garden, a beautiful area to escape the noisy city center and relax in a lush green environment. It's almost unbelievable that such an amazing garden is situated among the busiest avenues of the city and still it's so well protected from noise. The National Garden was created between 1838 and 1840 by order of Queen Amalia, the first queen of Greece. The German agronomist Friedrich Schmidt was responsible for planting this garden. He imported more than 500 plant species from Greece and around the world, including many tropical plants. Initially it was named Royal Garden because it was fenced and only the royal family had the right to walk there. The people were only allowed to stroll around in Zapion, it's another small park next to the Royal Garden. However, after the restoration of democracy in Greece in 1975, the park was named National Garden and it opened to the public. Today it remains open from sunrise to sunset. The National Garden distinguished for the narrow labyrinth paths, the wooden benches and the small lakes. It hosts a small zoo with goats, peacocks, chickens and other animals, a botanic museum, a children's library, a playground and an open coffee shop. So, the last place I recommend visiting in Athens is Piraeus. A trip to this beautiful seaside town is nothing less than a dream. The port town of Athens is known for its charming restaurant, nautical museum, Piraeus Archaeological Museum and the seaside taverns. No doubt, it's one of the top places to visit in Athens. If you are in capital of Greece, you must stop by at Piraeus and spend at least one day relaxing by the shore and treating yourself to some great food. Piraeus has always played a crucial role for Athens, considered the city's main port since the 8th century BC through the 5th and 4th centuries BC and up to the emergence of the Roman Empire. Its three natural bays were used for commercial and military purpose, housing of the once powerful Athenian armada. Presently, Piraeus is the most important port in Greece, with around 20 million passengers per year. The port also connects the peninsula with most Greek islands, and all cruise ships during the Aegean Sea stop at Piraeus for at least one day. Thank you for watching this video. I'm trying to find a balance between natural, ancient and modern sites in Athens. Subscribe to me please if you watched it till this moment. Thank you. See you soon in next video.